All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So we got a lot to talk about in today's live stream. First and foremost, we're going to talk about the thing that I'm sure is on everybody's mind as they're checking their phones this morning. Checking websites like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap.com is what's going on with the crypto markets. This looks like ugly. Okay, we're back about the same price levels we were about 10 days ago when we saw this most recent price correction, and I see a lot of people out there calling for bear markets, tops, all that type of stuff. So we're talking about that first in this live stream. Look at a lot of other news updates that have happened in this space since our last live stream we did on Friday. Again, we do these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. Just subscribe, turn on notifications. You'll find out about those whenever we go live. We're going to answer some of your questions and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, like nothing I'm saying in this video is designed to be financial advice for you. And there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Just ignore them. I'm never going to give you my phone number on YouTube, ask you to invest with me, invite you to a secret chat room or DM you on a social network to get money from you. It's just not going to happen. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We've got Automatic Beats, David Stone, Madison, Kurt, Shenny, Robert, Made You Look. Welcome. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. So like I was saying, I'm sure one of the first things on everybody's mind this morning when they were checking their phones is what is going on with the crypto markets? We have Bitcoin back around $47,000, Ether back around $3,700, about $3,800. So what's going on? What do I think about this? What do you need to know? So as always, people are looking for reasons to exactly why prices are correcting. I'm already starting to see certain opinions float around there on Twitter. I'm not really going to dig into the why as much as the big picture. I don't see a conclusive why for this particular price movement. There aren't always conclusive answers to why markets do what they do. Sometimes there's just multiple factors, and markets are just markets. They're just made up of humans that make decisions irrationally and rationally. Okay, but let's look at the big picture on this, which is answering a couple different questions. So some opinions I'm seeing on Twitter and other places are people calling for a top. Okay, so I would tell you why I don't think that's the case. I say a top, I mean a big peak that's going to precede some sort of really, really long bear market, all right? So I'm not going to try to sit here and pull up a technical explanation from a technical analysis and look at a chart and say, well, this pattern doesn't mean it's a top. Mostly what I'm going to say here is basically it's usually just not a top when everybody thinks it's a top. Tops tend to happen when people are very euphoric, and a vast majority of people think that, we're just going to see higher highs. The vast majority of people are not thinking that right now. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's a time to panic, okay? That's not typically what happens when you see tops like this, okay? So another thing from a fundamentals perspective is, why would I not think? So let's say that I'm wrong on that. Let's say that there is some sort of a top and there's some sort of longer correction. Maybe we see prices go lower from here. Maybe it takes us a long time to recover back to our previous all-time highs. So what's the next scenario after that? So at the end of the day, you also think about this in terms of likelihood. We'll be into some sort of long-term, bear market like we've seen in the past. Everybody's waiting for crypto to have this magical 4-year cycle. So many people are thinking that it's somehow pre-programmed on the Bitcoin halving, and that every 4 years we just, go, we have a peak, and then we go away for a while, and we just sit on a beach and enjoy our gains, and then, we just play the game over and over again. It's that's not really how markets tend to work, and I don't think that's how this market's going to work, but you have people waiting for that. So, why do I not think that we're going to see that? Well, let's look at some data here that I think can support this. So, basically, I saw this tweet come out that I thought was pretty interesting. So there's been a lot of talk of froth in the market, but something a lot of people are forgetting are isolated parts of the market that are getting absolutely destroyed, okay? So throwdown parts of the market down horrendously since May, September 2021. Okay, so May was the last big blow up that we had. September, we also saw some pretty big corrections across different markets as well. So DeFi is the easiest that comes to mind. I mean, I was here last year when DeFi really took off like a rocket ship. I was on that early wave telling you all about it. When DeFi really hit the scene, DeFi exploded, but DeFi has bled significantly over the past, year, basically, particularly against other assets like ETH. So if you look at ETH price increase versus DeFi, the DeFi coins trend downward relative to the ETH price increase. So NFTs are similar, like volumes on punks have dropped like crazy. Some other coins have seen massive losses here. Solana ecosystems had some, a lot of stuff bleed like crazy. I'm not gonna go through everything in this list. He just keeps listing more and more things that have kind of seen these really prominent rises and then these falls, okay? So some of these have dropped 50, 70, 80, 90%, or just like stayed flat while other assets have trended higher. So why is that, okay? Well, in my opinion, there's a lot of different factors, but in my opinion, the strongest factor is why I don't think that their major assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, are going to enter into some long-term bear markets. Adoption. Okay, so we saw a lot of new things pump like crazy in price, but those price appreciation was not necessarily matching the fundamentals of what's happening with the technology, the actual fundamental adoption. Okay, because there's two ways that cryptocurrency prices can go up, in my opinion. There's hype and speculation, okay, and then there's actual demand for the technology. And so my long-term thesis on this channel is always, as you create technology that actually has benefits to the end user that can generate demand, okay? And then as insofar as cryptocurrency is, inextricably integrated into those systems, where to use the technology you have to use the cryptocurrency, has utility value, that the adoption can accrue to the demand can accrue to the cryptocurrency prices themselves because you need it basically. And so I think that's what we're seeing. In crypto markets, as major cryptos like Bitcoin, Ether, and cryptos that have been out for a very long time that people have real utility value for, are not seeing this decimation that we've seen in some other really new things, like new ecosystems that have popped up, NFTs, maybe DeFi, okay, that have way smaller lifespan than some of these other bigger technologies. And so that's one reason that I think that we're not seeing that hit as hard, and that's one of the reasons that I think that we're not going to enter some massive, horrible bear market. Okay, simply it's adoption. So that being said, at the end of the day, all this is about likelihood. Okay, that increased the likelihood because I think so many people are calling for a top. That's not typically when tops happen. But what could you expect if we didn't do that? Well, my assumption is that we'll continue to see prices trend higher, relatively soon on the grand scheme of things. Like, I don't think we're going to have to wait 6 months, in order to resume our uptrend. I think our general uptrend is still intact. But what could happen in the short term? Well, we could go lower in price than we do now. How much lower? Nobody knows for sure, but let's just kind of try to measure it for a second here. Again, I'm not a big technical analyst. I don't try to think about this with in really precise terms. But the downside on ETH, if we went down to, I really just don't think we're going to go back down to these levels in July. I mean, that would be basically a 50% correction from here. That would be like in my opinion, probably like the worst case scenario downside. But we'll see. I mean, what the most likely thing, in my opinion, is that we're completing this pattern where we kind of take 3 steps forward, 2 steps back or 1 step back, and it's just taking a little bit longer than the last correction, and that you'll see some sort of rounding here, some sort of trough created, and that will resume the uptrend. It's not going to look exactly like the last one because that'd be too easy. You know what I mean? But that's probably what's happening, in my opinion. I would say, downside worst case scenario might be 50% from here. But I think we're still trending higher. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. So here's the thing. If we did drop 50%, because if I see what's happening, like in the technology all the time, I would personally buy more. I did buy more last week, and not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, when Ether dipped about $3,700, I bought more. So We're now just floating above that buy-in price. Of course, I'd love for it to go higher, but if it went lower, like in the short term, like I'm not gonna worry about it. Somebody said, do I believe this is happening due to a lack of developer in the space? No, I don't think so. So, let's see here. Is bear market? No, I don't think it's bear market. It's consolidation. I think consolidation is more likely. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin, you know, I also occasionally watch you know, Ben from Into the Cryptoverse's channel. He does a pretty good job. He does a better job at analyzing prices than I do. Again, I mostly just watch the space. I've been in the space for a long time. Try to tell you how I'm navigating these markets and what I personally think, just from my own opinion, right? He does a lot more in-depth analysis. But I was watching his channel the other day, and he was talking about you know, 2021 kind of looking like a accumulation year for Bitcoin, basically. And I can see that, right? Like, and that kind of defies what everybody thinks. And this market has completely defied what everybody thinks, because most people fall into two categories. You know, well, when we're right here, right? Back in April, May, when we peaked out at, you know, basically $64,000, there were two types of people. Basically, people who thought, and from a majority perspective, people thought, game over, we've seen this movie before, we're going into a winter, right? Everybody's sold, because, I mean, this was a scary thing to watch happen. I was here, you know, if you're watching these live streams, we talked about it. That's what a lot of people thought. Okay, that's why you saw a lot of people selling. And then there were some people who was just like, no, we're just waiting for it to go back to a raging bull market again, right? But what has really happened, it's basically just gone sideways. You know what I mean? It's like kind of, we've reached this all-time high again, but you know, in terms of this, it's in a range, basically, right? It's in a range from like $30,000 to $60,000 roughly. Now, like I said, I don't think we're gonna go back down to $30,000, but we're still kind of in this kind of rangy period. So that's defied a lot of people think. And that's kind of what markets tend to do, because, like I said, some people think it's pre-programmed into this 4-year pattern. I think it's kind of crazy in my opinion. But and then everybody else thinks it's just going to go into a bear market, and neither one of those things has happened. Now, there is a possibility where what we've seen is a double top, and we are in this 4-year pattern, and we are in a bear market, but that's not really fitting what most people think in terms of a 4-year cycle. If they think it always ends in a parabolic blow-off top, and what we've seen lately is not even close to a parabolic blow-off top. Somebody says, I agree, going with 2022. Here's the other thing is, you know, I've talked about this some on my channel, and I think it's worth repeating, which is, you know, especially if you're in stuff like Ether, you know, which is you know, primarily what is basically my largest holding. I mean, I try to be fully transparent about that on this channel. Mostly because I understand the technology really, really well. You know, have made a big bet behind it, not just in terms of investment, but also just my time and expertise investment for lots of good reasons. I have had no compelling reason to switch. Okay. But especially, you know, talking about an asset like that has so much upside potential, especially in terms of adoption, like I was talking about. Like, if you're in this, you know, and you see this pattern, you know, play out, you know, we're still in this massive trend. And if this trend continues into 2022, let's say there's still a, you know, conservatively, I say conservatively, it may not be conservative, but highly likely that, you know, if we do continue with this trend higher, there's like a 2.5 to 3x upside left in Ether. Okay. So, and let's say that happens in the next 18 months, like, you're probably not going to get a 2.5, 3x return on many other things in 18 months, right? So there's also very likely that the upside's bigger than that, okay? No guarantee, right? But you're talking about possibilities here. So the slow grind getting higher and higher and higher, something really, really, really quality that's probably not going to go down by 90% or go to zero, where you can get that kind of return, is still pretty good compared to other stuff, right? I mean, unless you're just like an absolute wizard at something else. Somebody says we are not going into a bear market for long simply because of one thing, ETH 2.0. Yeah, I can definitely see ETH 2.0 being a big factor in this. And what that really does is, help give something on the horizon to look forward to, but it also really helps the adoption. So I did this on my channel on Friday, and we did have an Ethereum upgrade over the past week. I believe it was last, like maybe Wednesday or Thursday. Let me just look up. Let's see here. So basically, we had an Ethereum upgrade on the network right now that basically has given us some hints about Ethereum 2.0. Okay, so we had a network upgrade that delayed something called the difficulty bomb Ethereum. So I'm gonna explain what that is, or more accurately, I'll explain what it does. So basically, the difficulty bomb is something that's sort of hard-coded into the Ethereum protocol to make mining harder and to try to push people away from mining the Ethereum chain to using the new chain running proof of stake. Okay, so right now we're in this transition period from Ethereum 1.0 to Ethereum 2.0. So if you use Ethereum right now, you're using Ethereum 1.0. So if you like trade on a DEX or you buy an NFT, then you're using Ethereum 1.0. If you're using a MetaMask wallet, that's what you're doing, okay? But we're moving to Ethereum 2.0, which is this new network, okay? It's actually being built over here on the side in this thing called the Beacon Chain, and it's got proof of stake running. The only way you can use it is if you transfer your Ether over and like lock it up in the smart contract, okay? So most people watching this video haven't done that. You would know if you did. But we're going to merge that back into Ethereum 1.0 and actually turn on proof of stake, and that's the next major item on the roadmap for Ethereum, and it's 2.0 upgrade, okay? So we have some hints onto when that's likely going to happen, because this difficulty bomb, like I was talking about, just got pushed back to June of 2022, I believe is the date. So basically, that's an indication that as of now, they think that Ethereum 2.0, the merge, will happen before June of 2022, and likely, significantly before. Like, it's probably not going to happen. I don't exactly know the block number of the difficulty bomb. Let's say it's like middle of June, but anyways, I don't think the merge is going to happen on like May 31st, right? That's a date, I think it is. I think it'll probably happen significantly before June. So we'll see. The core devs and the community could always vote to try to push it back even further. It's happened before. So we'll see. But as of now, it sounds like the expectation is pre-June 2022. So one thing really quickly I'm going to announce, since we're actually starting to peak out at our number of live stream viewers. I want to do a quick announcement. We're sending an email about this. If you're on the email list, you'll probably get an email about this, but I want to reiterate on the live stream here. So 2022, I do expect to be a big year for crypto, blockchain, everything, right? I think that the crypto cycles will likely extend into 2022. And there's even a possibility that we are in a much longer super cycle, okay, where we go through exactly what we're talking about here. Let me just see. Like I was talking about a minute ago, we kind of have these 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but a slow grind higher and higher over time, okay? Nobody knows for sure, but like I said, you also think about things in terms of likelihood, and think about your base case, and then, what could cause that base case to change. I mean, honestly, really at this point, my base case kind of is a super cycle, but I know that how the crypto markets work, like things tend to get irrational. When things tend to get irrational, prices go up really fast. And when prices go up really fast, they go down really fast. And when they go down fast, sometimes they go down really hard, and that can cause bear markets. So I'm very realistic to think that we could enter into like a year-long bear market if we saw a big enough, blow off top. But if we don't see that, my base case is, a general just uptrend higher, because I don't see the adoption slowing down anytime soon. So the reason I bring that up is I very likely see, crypto continuing to press forward and go crazy in 2022. I mean, in a general sense, like, this space is not slowing down anytime soon. We've opened up so many new possibilities in 2021 that are not going to go away in 2022. Demand for talent in this space is going like crazy. And so we're going to continue to grow here at Dapp University as fast as we can and help you all, help support the community and grow the community. And so we are hiring more people for the team, okay? So we've got a list of open spots here at dappuniversity.com/jobs. Like I said, if you're on the email list, you should get an email about this morning. I'm putting a link down the live chat replay here. You check on this. So we are looking, the most important things that we need are more content creators on the channel. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here, but I think that we can do more and do better if we have more people. So we definitely need a developer content creator and a research analyst content creator. So basically, one individual person doing a lot of what I do all by myself, okay, to help enhance what we're doing. Again, I'm not going anywhere, but having more people. So basically, what that can look like is more coding content for you all, able to crank that out more, and also probably like some co-hosts on this live stream that I do, so that we can have more perspectives and have more kind of conversation. So it's not just me here talking for, half hour. We could even do longer streams even if we wanted to, or more days per week, stream on weekends, stuff like that. So those are the primary things we need. We're also looking for a graphic designer to do YouTube thumbnails and other just general graphic design needs, and also a project manager to manage the many projects that we have going on here. So make sure you check that out with the link down in the live chat replay. Somebody says, could it be a response to congressional hearings and fear of regulations? I mean, that could be a factor, but honestly, what I saw with the congressional hearings last week were pretty good for crypto in the grand scheme of things. Somebody says crypto crash even with the Metaverse, Web3. Yeah, I think we have too many things that are, big. 'Cause here's the thing. Like, in 2017, of course, we saw all these people like coming to the table saying like, we're going to change the world. And like, we have ICOs and, here's all our crazy crypto projects, all these promises that we're going to build. But many of them were not like major established companies already. Like the fact that Facebook has pivoted to becoming Meta to focus on the metaverse is a pretty massive bet. Like, I don't think Facebook is just going to, roll up their entire company into a paper ball and throw it into a wastebasket with a really bad bet like that. Of course, they can always change their name back and pivot, right? But I really don't think. I mean, of course, they can also bleed through a multi-year bear market to build something, right? And then come out victorious on the other side and go into the red for a long time. But I don't know. I mean, it's a publicly traded company now. Like, I don't know. Somebody says Brian Brooks did a really good job explaining crypto to Congress. Yes, he did do a really good job. It was quite evident that he knew what he was talking about, and actually, explained it in a way that basically spoke to them in a language they can understand, which I think is really important. As the two like two kind of superpowers if you can combine them in crypto. One is understanding how it works, which is challenging in and of itself. And number two is communicating those ideas to other people who don't understand it, which is also not easy. Somebody says Elon Musk named Time Person of the Year. Maybe that's why we're going into a bear market. Just kidding. I don't think we're going into a bear market. And I don't think that's got anything to do with Elon Musk. Let's go. So another thing I want to pull out my Twitter, I told this person that I would give them a shout out on the live stream because they tagged me and I asked them to tweet this. Like I saw them talking about how they were helped by Dapp University on Twitter. And so I said, hey, if you'll like make a public tweet about this, then I'll share it on my live stream. So I'm going to make good on that promise. So basically, this is from Adam here on Twitter. So Adam says he's been a dev for decades, but didn't become a real blockchain dev until he started learning in the peak of this thing that I'm not really supposed to say on YouTube because they algorithmically censor videos with Dapp University. So basically, the story was inspiring. He devoured the 10-hour full-stack blockchain dev lessons in single sittings. Okay, basically, it was a perfect place to get me started learning more, and eventually decided to launch his first large-scale serious project. This is what I wanted to drill in on. So NFT registry. So NFTR, so Nifter, is the first platform that allows naming your NFT uniquely with really cool tokenomics. So this is a cool example of somebody who's taken, his learnings from here and actually created a cool real world project. So hats off. Congratulations, Adam. Thanks for the testimonial. Someone says no luck on the CNBC thing tonight yet. I'm actually going to check and see what's going on Twitter over here. See what people are getting worked up about now. Yeah, nothing that looks like it's really good, relevant information. Mostly just panic. All right, let's do one more question here, then we'll call it a day. So I'm just thinking about building a DAO. I have experience programming. How hard would it be? So honestly, like most of the DAOs that launch now, well, I say most. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I haven't audited every single DAO. But I've got a feeling that many DAOs that launch now are basically just forks of previous DAOs with some settings change and some codes change. So if you have coding experience and like let's say you're trying to learn Solidity for blockchain and your goal is to create a DAO, What I would probably do is just like go get your hands dirty with Solidity and do one of my Solidity tutorials on my YouTube homepage just to get the basics first before you go try to create something, right? And then maybe try to like fork an existing DAO project and change it to do what you want it to do, okay? And probably change at least amount of things as possible. So the other caveat here is you want to look at these open source projects where the code is out there, it's public, but you want to make sure that the license allows you to copy the code and modify it, because just because something's open source doesn't mean that you can just take it. So check on the license and see what it says. You'll see the license typically in the GitHub repository at the top level directory. You know, if it says you can take it and use it for whatever purpose, then it should be good. All right, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fast at this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, actually we have a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time,